Hey everyone, my name is Eric Hopkins, aka JEL. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, on Monday afternoon, before we get into the Monday Night Raw review this week, Triple H, the creative head over at WWE, took to his social media and his X, and he announced that a Bray Wyatt documentary will be coming to Peacock on April 1st, entitled "Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal." And they released a bit of a poster here, and we're going to watch the quick little trailer here, real quick for it. He said, quote, Wyndham Rotunda had a brilliant mind. There was no wall he wouldn't break down in the name of storytelling. You had no choice but to believe in him. He was just that good. It's time for his story to be the one that's told. Bray Wyatt Becoming Immortal comes to Peacock on April 1st on the WWE network, obviously on the Peacock network. So yeah, I think this is great. I know his father is going into the Hall of Fame this year. I believe, I think it might even be for the second time. I just kind of hope that I was kind of hoping maybe Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda would get to go into the Hall of Fame this year too, especially since his father's already going to be there. But I don't know if we're going to get that or not this year. But we are going to get this documentary. So let's check out the trailer for it real quick.
Wrestling is not a love story. It's much more. It's hope. A great man once said that.
I want to be just like my dad. I wanted to be in the WWE.
Wrestling was his life. That was his art.
Yowie, wowie, you found me!
It was like this whirlwind of ideas at all times.
Do I have your attention now?
The dad he was the best at it.
Bray Wyatt was chaos, the ultimate villain. We cried together, we laughed together.
When the lights went out, 100,000 people had their phones up.
Hurts the most that I never got to tell him how much you meant to me.
I'm here. You're here. We're all here.
Yeah. Looks like it's going to be a good documentary. I mean, WWE does this great job with, there are sometimes WWE documentaries I feel sometimes have a WWE slant on them, depending on the subject matter. They don't always necessarily tell the dark secrets, and I get it. They're not going to publicly go out and, tell the dark sides of their company. But I feel like in this particular situation, they're going to do a good job and honor Bray Wyatt and his legacy. And tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know, when something could happen. Life is very fleeting. Life is short. And yeah, we miss Bray Wyatt. He passed away not too long back. I know he had a rough few years there with some health issues and stuff. So I'm just glad to see the WWE is honoring, as they always will, I'm sure. And according to this, it said that the documentary will be narrated by the Undertaker. And if you remember, not long before Bray passed away, they were in the ring together, Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, and Undertaker whispered something into his ear. And to this day, I don't think that's ever been revealed. And it doesn't need to be. It was something from Undertaker to Bray, and you could tell it really hit Bray, in the feelings. It hit him home. So whatever was said there, kudos to the dead man, and Mark Calloway, a great standout wrestler of all time. He's one of the greats for sure. And Bray Wyatt will live on in infamy in WWE annals of time as well. All right, so I know there's not a really great segue because it is kind of a sad topic, but I'm glad to see they're doing a documentary. But let's get into Monday Night Raw this week. Monday Night Raw, great, pretty good show. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I liked it pretty much all the way through. It had some good wrestling on the show, good storytelling as well. The show opened up with Jey Uso coming out, getting the crowd, going with the yeet, and you had Pat McAfee about ready to, blow his knee out by. He always loves to stand up at the commentary position, but he's standing up on the table and a chair with wheels on it. So he's got a very balancing act there. He's got to really deal with. Yeah, so Jey Uso starts the show real great. He calls out Jimmy Uso, who obviously was in the building with his younger brother Solo. And of course, the two brothers went face to face, setting up their match at WrestleMania 40. They're doing a good job of selling this. Like I said, I think both guys are going to kill this match. Yeah, I mean, Jey Uso, despite all the hell he was put through, tells Jimmy he still misses him. He extends one last olive branch for him to come home. Jimmy responds by saying he never left, but Jey left him. He wants Jey to know he can never accomplish anything without him, no matter how popular he gets. Yeah, it just sounds like, this is going to be a great match. And, I know Jay's talked about, I'm going to beat the yeet out of you at WrestleMania. And sometimes, as this post mentions, the best WWE stories have a hint of reality to them. This could definitely be one of the best matches at WrestleMania this year, no doubt about it. These two guys are uber talented, and you don't see them wrestle each other one on one. I don't know if they ever really have on camera before, but yeah, this could be a lot of fun. It has this comment down here. I wouldn't mind possibly even seeing their father Rikishi show up for this, since it's kind of a family affair. You got Solo involved as well as the younger brother. I think this would be a great family. It's kind of it ties into the bloodline a lot, obviously, with the Roman Reigns story and the Rock that they're telling as well. So I'm kind of hoping that this happens for sure. We'll just have to wait and see if that's what they end up doing. Yeah, I just think this could be great. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I think either one of these two guys could win this match. I'm intrigued to see how they end this story, or if they continue it beyond this. If it becomes a rivalry moving forward for years to come, or if they're going to have a clear cut winner between the two brothers. I'm not sure, but that's what makes it intriguing. It's real life kind of meeting the creative side of things, and it's really well done. So I'm looking forward to that. We had Cody Rhodes. This is the biggest probably thing on the show. There's a lot of big things on the show, really, but this was really great. This is a picture of Cody Rhodes and his dog Pharaoh. Pharaoh wearing a bandana that says "Rock is a cat," kind of insinuating that he's a little bit of a P word. So I mean, Rock has definitely been spewing some big time promos on SmackDown and on his social media accounts, on his X and all these other ones. And he's been using some profanity laced promos. And I know a lot of fans kind of got a little upset that, why is The Rock, and I think wrestlers were even getting upset too. Like, why is The Rock allowed to go out there and say profanity in his promos, but some of these other wrestlers aren't allowed to? And well, Cody Rhodes did just that tonight. And Cody's been taking a lot of flack lately about how, he was crying in the ring last week. And he even mentions that this week about how The Rock was making fun of the fact that he was crying in the ring. And Cody even says, crying in wrestling is not something that normally you do, but I think it works for Cody just a little bit, because like I said, in my SmackDown review, Cody, is one of those guys that will, when he talks about his family, he gets emotional, and I think that's what brings out some babyface sympathy for him, because he does love his family, and it shows in spades. And I think audiences they relate to that. So I think that works. But in this case, Cody come out spitting fire here. He said lines like, "Hey Rock, I don't think you're a heel. I think you're an asshole." He said, "You call me a crybaby. What about the crying you did to the TKO group behind the scenes?" Speaking of the board of directors and stuff that The Rock's on. He said, "You're a succubus. In other words, you're a whiny bitch." Then he ended it. "Are you going to bring the great one at WrestleMania, or are you going to bring the LDS, little dick syndrome?" So this was well done, and pardon my language, but that is definitely. I'm just quoting what he said here. I think he even went, because I know The Rock has talked about having a giant Dwayne syndrome or whatnot, giant Dwayne presence or whatever. So he kind of played on that line a little bit as well. So yeah, this was a great promo by Cody Rhodes. It was absolutely great. It was nice to see Cody finally, show his teeth a little bit, show his anger, instead of just kind of not really responding well to some of the promos that have been cut on him. This was Cody coming out full force and saying, "Come at me, bro." So I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm sure The Rock will respond. I'm not sure if he's on SmackDown this week. I don't think he is, but I think they did announce that The Rock will be making an appearance on Raw on the Go Home show on April 1st for WrestleMania. So, yeah, April Fool's Day, The Rock is going to be on Monday Night Raw to set up some more as well. This promo led to Paul Heyman coming out. Obviously, they're building up Friday night SmackDown show with Roman Reigns is going to be there. And Paul Heyman says that Roman Reigns gives Cody Rhodes his word that if Cody shows up alone, Roman Reigns will show up alone as well. Now, the storyline obviously is, will Roman Reigns hold to his word? Cody Rhodes is a babyface, so most of the time babyfaces hold to their word, but heels don't always do that. So, and of course, I think there were some guys in the back telling Cody, "You really think he's going to show up alone?" But Cody's bound and determined to hold to his word, and we're going to see if Roman Reigns does the same this Friday night on SmackDown as they go face to face. So check that out this week. Monday Night Raw also had, okay, here we go. Also had, we got some confirmation of who was in the six-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. We had qualifying matches, and the Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth, qualified, as well as DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston of the New Day also qualified to be a part of this six-pack ladder match against the Judgment Day for their WWE Tag Team Championships. And two teams remain. They're holding a mini qualifying tournament over on SmackDown right now. It could be anybody from Legado del Fantasma, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, the Street Profits, AOP, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller or the OC, they're all still involved in this. So we'll have to wait and see who comes out of it there. I just don't quite understand exactly. I understand they're run by two different GMs, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, but I don't understand why Raw's just kind of having a qualifying match, and on SmackDown we're having full blown like mini tournament. So where you got to win multiple matches to get in, where these guys on Raw only had to win one match. It's a little weird, but I can at least separate the two different shows because they're run by two different people. So in that regard, I ain't going to nitpick it too much. We also had Sami Zayn confronting Chad Gable a little bit after last week when Sami Zayn beat Chad Gable to advance to WrestleMania to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. And these segments, Chad Gable was telling Sami Zayn, "You can't beat Gunther." And Sami Zayn couldn't quite understand why, because he considers them friends and stuff like that, why he would be saying stuff like that to him. But Chad Gable was trying to explain to him, Gunther's on a different level right now. And he is. Let's be fair. Gunther has the longest reigning Intercontinental title reign of all time. And he's a monster. He's a destroyer. And Chad Gable says, if you don't change your way of thinking, Sami Zayn, you're going to lose to Gunther. So I don't know if Chad Gable is going to somehow get involved in this or not. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know if they're going to end up making this a triple threat. They very well could. And it's just crazy how fans have turned on Sami Zayn. Well, they haven't turned on him. They still love Sami, but they were cheering for him to do well last year, win the title from Roman Reigns, and that didn't happen. But now that WWE looks to be giving Sami Zayn maybe a possible Intercontinental title run here, now they want Chad Gable. So it's kind of crazy how that works. Sometimes it's about striking when the iron's hot, and they might have missed the ball or missed the opportunity with Sami Zayn. While Sami Zayn's saying Sami Zayn's still going to be successful no matter what they do. I just feel like they could have done it a little bit last year, but I get it. They didn't want to take the title off Roman at the time. I understand that too. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta kind of got to go when you have to go with it. And they didn't take that chance with numerous guys last year with Roman. As a matter of fact, they all got hot and they didn't pull the trigger. But yeah, so we'll see what happens here. I'm looking forward to it. I think Sami Zayn and Gunther could have a great match. Gunther's just going to have a great match with about anybody he's in the ring with at this point. He's that good. So yeah, and I can definitely see Gunther even retaining for sure. Then we had Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre in the ring cutting promos on one another. Even Drew McIntyre, when he was coming down to the ring, Seth Rollins kind of came out right after him and kind of just walked right past him, didn't even acknowledge him, which was he's trying to get under Drew McIntyre's skin, which was doing a pretty good job of things from the looks of it. Drew McIntyre, even, of course, since next week is in Chicago, Illinois on Monday Night Raw, CM Punk will be making an appearance, even though he is still injured. But Drew McIntyre obviously has been trying to, completely bury CM Punk on the mic here lately. And he's keeping that feud alive. So when CM Punk comes back, he'll be able to face Drew McIntyre. Whether that be for the World Heavyweight title, we'll just have to wait and see if McIntyre can get the job done at WrestleMania. But I get this feeling Drew McIntyre is going to beat Seth Rollins because, I mean, Drew's making good points. He's like, you're so concerned with The Rock and Cody and Roman right now. You're not paying attention to this. You're not paying attention to our match. And he makes a good point. And I think that's the story they're going to tell, where Seth is going to be so focused on other things when he gets to that title match. He's going to already be hurt and beat up from the night before. And Drew McIntyre, he's going to take advantage of it without any remorse. And he's going to get his moment that he claims he never got and he got robbed of. So, and I agree with him. I think he deserves this moment. And I think it's going to be a good title change if Seth Rollins wants to drop the title here. And I think it's going to be the right decision overall. And Seth Rollins is going to go on without a hitch. He's not going to have a bit of a problem. His character can handle it. But Drew McIntyre could definitely use the World Heavyweight title. And I hope that's what they do at WrestleMania. We'll have to wait and see. Then, of course, the show ended with Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. This feud has been going on and on for years now, ever since Nia Jax broke her nose. And, of course, blood was coming out, which basically made the man gimmick. So, yeah, I mean, this has always been bound to come to a head here. But before we get into the match to end the show, I wanted to take a moment to congratulate Becky Lynch on becoming a U.S. citizen, as they announced during the show, and she announced to the crowd after the show as well. She's got a biography coming out, and she spent some time at the White House, as a matter of fact, promoting the book. And I guess she talked about how it was added to the library. While I'm not a big fan of the current administration personally, I do applaud Becky Lynch for her hard work and her success. And Becky Lynch, obviously, she did the right thing when it comes to how she became a citizen in this country. She went through the process, and it took some time, obviously, but I think she did it the correct way, and I applaud her for doing it lawfully and doing it the way it should be done. So congratulations to Rebecca Quinn, Becky Lynch, on becoming a citizen. That's awesome. So yeah, the match was absolutely was really good. I ain't gonna lie, they went full hardcore battle on this one. going through tables, jumping off the apron. Then, of course, the match ended with Becky Lynch doing a giant leg drop off the top of a ladder through Nia Jax on the table on the outside, which Pat McAfee was going absolutely ballistic for. Pat's great. I love Pat McAfee on this show. He's just a fun, loving guy. He's great on his YouTube channel. If you've never seen him on his podcast, the Pat McAfee Show, or his show as well, definitely go check him out there. I highly recommend that. But yeah, this was really well done, and I think it was a lot of fun between these two. And I don't know if this is going to be the final end of this story or not, but it was bound to come to a head here. And I guess from what I've heard, I don't think Becky Lynch has ever actually pinned Nia Jax. She did not pin her here. This was a last woman standing match, but she did beat her. So I don't know if they're going to keep that running or if they're just going to kind of, this will be the end of that feud. But of course, after the match was over, Becky has been going through all these matches as of late and going through these battles and wars with multiple different competitors, proving she's a fighting spirit, no doubt. But here's the thing, though. She's going to go up against the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, who showed up after this match was over to go face-to-face with her as the show went off the air. But the thing about the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley here, she's been, resting, and she's been waiting, and she's not been, putting her body through the ringer like Becky Lynch has. So is that going to play a factor into their WrestleMania match for the Women's World title? We'll just have to wait and see. Can Becky overcome the odds, or is Rhea Ripley once again going to run through this women's division and hold on to her title and move beyond WrestleMania, because Rhea Ripley is dominating at this point. So yeah, I like the storytelling that they're doing there, just much like they're doing with the women's division on SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown both are doing great by the women, in my opinion. And I think that's a great thing. And more women's wrestling, the better the storytelling can be done for the women, the more the women's division in WWE and AEW are going to be elevated. And I think that's great for the business as a whole. The women should be getting the same opportunities, and that's great. I'm glad to see they're finally starting to do some things that are very worthy of their talents, and I can't wait to see more of that. But what do you guys think? Did you guys enjoy Monday Night Raw this week, or did you guys think its show wasn't that good? I actually thought it was a pretty good show. This is the most excited I've been for a WrestleMania in a long time. It just feels like WrestleMania. It feels like the storylines are building correctly. It feels like we're building the hype and building the anticipation, and I can't wait for that coming up here in about 19 days. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching my Raw review. I hope you'll like and subscribe to this channel, as well as share this video. And until my next video, guys, take care and God bless.